Howdy there, Bronco fans, on a very special edition of Bronco Planet. You know what? It's good news in the studio because I got rid of Danny and Chris. We got this hot mama right on the set with us. Welcome, the Barrel Man's wife, Becky Mckernan.
How are you, buddy?
So good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
We've been talking about it for a while. The one thing Bronco fans know is, you're down there hanging around the stadium and you see different people, and we've been running into each other for a while now, and I'm just like, please come on the show. So thank you for joining.
Well, this is a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, you know what? A Bronco Planet's all about fans. It's created by fans for fans. And when you go around and you talk to fans, not just in Denver, around the NFL, the one person everybody thinks about, the most diehard fan of them all, your husband, the Barrel Man. So I want to talk a little bit about him. And what do you think when everybody across the NFL, and you've been all the different cities, all the Super Bowls, how's that feel?
You know, it is still amazing to me. Even with Tim having gone up to heaven, I can tell you, it's still amazing to me how many people are aware of Tim. I'll tell you a real quick thing. ESPN about 4 years ago, had a poll, and they said, who is the most famous fan in any sport? And don't you know, Tim came in second place to Jack Nicholson.
Oh, really?
I was like, seriously?
I think it should have been an obvious first. Are you kidding me? Well, that's awesome and not a surprise. And I got to tell you, when I went to Canton, Ohio with Danny and all the boys, we went to go see Elway go into the Hall of Fame, and we come around the corner, and there he is. And man, you just wanted, I don't take off this hat too often, as my wife will attest, but, you want to take the hat off and salute a great man. Tell me a little bit about that induction to the Hall of Fame, how all that happened.
Visa would sponsor famous fans, and so it started out as like a promotional thing. And as far as Tim went, you wrote a little something about yourself and how many games or what made you a special fan. Well, needless to say, the barrel was the trick. And so Tim was inducted in 1999 along with, I believe, about another 20 different fans from all the different teams, AFC, NFL, right?
Yep.
NFC.
You got it.
Sorry.
Yep.
Had to think.
No, you're good.
Okay. And what an honor, because these are the people that, the TV cameras love to pick up. And if they are reoccurring fans that are always there, and they're just something about them, like the Hogettes in Washington. I mean, I could name a whole bunch. But at any rate, it's just, Tim took this as one of the biggest honors in his life. And believe me, he's been bestowed many honors, not just from the state of Colorado and the city of Denver. But this was huge to him, and he was so proud. You'd go to Canton, and I know if you boys went, you took a tour.
Yep.
And you saw the huge cardboard cutout of him, and that was one of his first barrels. There are two there. His very first barrels.
That is so awesome. I wanted to ask you about that, actually. Out of all the places, you think San Diego, you got the Miami Dolphins, you got teams in Arizona, in bloody Colorado where it's snowing all the time. You come up with this barrel idea. How did that all happen?
Well, Tim was born in Tacoma, Washington, but his family, his father was a minister, and his father went into California, and that's where the family took up their roots, went to college. Tim worked for, actually, the Flying Tigers, and then he later went to work for United. United brought him to Denver. Tim's mailman, shortly after he moved to Denver, said, I'm getting a divorce. Do you want to buy my other season ticket? And Tim's like, ah, okay. So his love for the Broncos started from day one. Tim was in the South Stands, luckily. Awesome. Tim used to beat a tom-tom.
Very cool.
Well, here he goes back to California to visit his brother because the two of them owned a waterbed store back there. Remember waterbeds?
Back in the day, they're pretty popular.
Back in the day, yep. Back in the 70s. And so his brother says, how come we never see you on TV? Because now they're starting to broadcast all these Bronco games out there. And he said, I'm the guy dressed in orange beating a tom-tom. And he's like, the whole place, his brother said, the whole place is orange. Like we're coming to now.
Yeah.
The whole place is orange.
Exactly.
At any rate, his brother said, how big is that tom-tom? Tim said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, his brother said, would it fit over you? And he said, what do you mean? He said, I mean, if you slapped a pair of suspenders on that and didn't wear anything else but that barrel to the games, you'd get on TV and Mom and Dad could see you. Tim's like, why in the world would I want to do something like that? Tim was a lot smaller back then, so really it wasn't his physique, but that's kind of most men would say no. Well, to make a long story short, his brother said, I'll bet you $15 you can't do that. And that's not a bet, that's a dare when it's your brother. So, first home game, he wore it. So, he wears this to the game, and the South stands are in love with this. Well, it was a nice sunny day. Broncos won. He goes hunting the next weekend that we have a home game, but he comes back on Sunday for the game dressed in like orange camis, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody's questioning, oh, where's your can? Back then they called it a can. Yeah. Where's your can? He says, oh, that was a one-time deal. There is a little more to this story.
Yeah,
those
we talk about Madden.
No, not. There is a little more to this story. The day that he wore this barrel was the day that Howard Cosell came to town. That infamous day back in 1978 when people were throwing bricks at their TV and having not so complimentary posters about Howard, his name, and his origin and things like this.
Yep.
So, cameras decided not to show any of the crowds that day, hence no Tim on TV for Mom and Dad. So, back to the next game. When he wore his camis and he said, all right, I'll wear it again. It was a one-time deal. Whoa. Snow. Big time snow. 2 feet of snow. Tim had no clue that was going to happen. Well, here's Tim enjoying a nice barbecue sandwich and a beer, getting ready to walk into the stadium. And he feels a hand on his shoulder. And the hand says, my God, it is Skin. And he turned around, and there's Pat Summerall.
Wow.
Now, what are the odds of that happening? Because he's walking in, and he sees Tim. He says, this is fan appreciation game. At that time, he said, I want the cameras to follow him around. Do not lose track of this guy. So a star was born. Tim was going up and down like he did, visiting some people in the stands. And the cameras were on him, and people were saying, you're on TV. Because people used to bring their little portable TVs and put them between their legs and watch the games. And at any rate, that's how Tim was born. And then he became a media darling. Because those of you that had the pleasure of getting to know Tim or even meet him realize he was a very soft-spoken, very kind-hearted, a really special person.
Now, tell me a little bit about we all see Tim on the TV. He's, there's cold games. What was it like when he'd come home? And what did that impact him a little bit? And were there some games you're like, honey, you can't keep doing this. Are you kidding me? Tell me a little bit about the aftermath.
Nothing really, I didn't think, impacted him. He would get cold. But we would always meet up at halftime. I'd have some hot chocolate for him. He did utilize the old hand warmers that you'd hit the air button because that barrel doesn't allow you to sit or do too much bending and walking up and down stairs. You kind of have to contort yourself a little bit, but no. The one thing he'd get would be angry maybe the way we played, just like any normal fan, but not over the weather.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know.
All right, so that's too. I mean, and how for you? You know, here you are sharing him with everybody because he can't obviously come and sit with you. You got to meet him at halftime. Was that hard sometimes? You wish like, hey, this is a great game. I wish he was right here with me.
I'm not going to say I never wished he wasn't there with me, but no, that's his thing. I never need to let myself feel the need to, you need to be with me. No, he was everybody's. Yeah. I recognize that very much.
Tell me about some of the Broncos that you've come to know through Tim being who he was and all your time with the organization. Well, tell me some Broncos stories related to Tim and you.
Oh, my goodness. We've really become very dear friends with Rick Upchurch and his wife Donna are very special people to us. Rick and Donna call us Mama and Papa.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. We're very good friends with Ron Egloff and his family and his sweet wife and his boys. They come to our tailgate still. Oh my gosh. You got to give me a break here a second. I got to think.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
I mean, all of a sudden I just drew not a blank. We actually stayed very close to, I must say, Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson. Ricky Nattiel's been down in Florida, so we haven't had to enjoy been able to enjoy his company as much as we like, but Vance Johnson was especially sweet when Tim suffered an aneurysm in 2004, I believe. We were down in Gunnison, and he had a very big problem, so they airlifted him to Grand Junction, which is where Vance lives. Vance was there every day at the hospital and just couldn't have been more of a caretaker, really, for me. But Tim was up there many, many, many weeks. So
now let's talk for a moment about the Broncos organization. How have they been? Because obviously you've made them. I mean, you cannot think of Denver Bronco football and not think of the Barrel Man. So how has the organization and as Sacamano and the PR gang been to you?
Jimmy is just unbelievably kind and sweet. He was one of the first people to call me when he learned of Tim's passing the next morning. He's always just thought the world of Tim. Always treated me so well. I have to tell you, we have so much fun with that organization. Teresa, head of cheerleaders, everything going on the field, she is a sweetheart. The guy, oh my gosh, there was a guy named Sam, and I'm not sure if Sam is still there, but he was the groundskeeper and kept our beautiful. Have we not got the best grass?
Awesome.
Oh.
They do a great job.
Yes, they do a phenomenal job. I mean, we get special privileges because they allow us when we come to the games. We get an orange stamp on our hand, not a blue. So we can go anywhere if we really wanted to or needed to when we go to the games. And yes, I'm still a season ticket holder. I haven't missed a game since '69 when I moved here from Kentucky. So very devout, very devoted.
And now let's talk about favorite players for a moment. So who were some of your favorites and some of Tim's favorite players?
Well, I'll start with Tim's all-time. No offense to anybody else looking at this. He was in love with Glenn Lumpy Hyde. He just loved this guy. And I had the honor of meeting Glenn a few years ago at Danny's Foundation, doing a benefit with 1970, no, would that be right?
Could be.
Broncos organization, and there were so many of the older guys there. It was just a great time. I've got something to show you on that. At any rate, to make a long story short, my favorites are, I love Steve Atwater. I will always love him. I love Steve Foley. I loved Ma'a Tanavasa. Ma'a, I used to do custom homes for many years, and Ma'a came in to visit me with his wife. And that was right before our Super Bowl. What a sweetheart he was. So gentlemanly. I love a bunch of them. Ron Egloff is absolutely one of my favorites. So many. I like the older guys.
Oh, hey, nothing wrong with that. And
I love
naming
the
some
new
great
guys.
ones.
We've had a chance to visit with Wes Woodyard. We've had a chance to see Eric Decker, go bowling with him. I wish we still had this guy, Eddie Royal. You know, there's just a lot of decent young men on our team this year. I haven't met Von Miller yet. I'd love to meet him.
Well, hey, folks, we're hearing some great stories. We're hearing about the Broncos. We're hearing about both players, the organization, the Hall of Fame. We're going to take a quick little break, as we always do here. It's time to celebrate when we get such special guests. The Prize Monkey's going crazy, so we're going to go to the Prize Monkey.
Prize Monkey, that monkey's funky.
Say what?
Prize Monkey, that monkey's funky.
Oh, you got to love that Prize Monkey. He's a little crazy, isn't he?
He's very crazy, stiff though.
Exactly. All righty here. So, well, it couldn't be a Barrel Man show with our special guest without being able to give something away. So the Prize Monkey has worked with this lovely lady, and what we have is a bobblehead that we're going to give away. Now, this is like number 35 in a collection. So this isn't something you're going to go find down the street anywhere. This is like once in a lifetime opportunity. And so we're gonna raffle that off, and here's all you have to do. All you got to do is go to see us on Facebook or YouTube or our website, and I want you to comment about what you thought of the Barrel Man and how he inspired you as a fan. All you got to do is do that to get your name in the entry, and then we'll pull it off, and you're going to have number 35 or number 36, whatever number it is, but it'll be special, and it'll be something you'll cherish forever, and thank you for working with the Prize Monkey.
You're very welcome. And just so you all know, there were only 4,000 of these made, and the mold was destroyed. So these are truly a collectible.
Maybe I should have took that. But hey, it's all about the fans, and we wouldn't be doing Tim any favors if we didn't keep doing it about the fans. So
that's right.
We'll share that love. So, all right, now speaking of Tim, now recently there's been some big news here in Denver. You can go to the museum and see Tim. Tell me all about this new exhibit.
Well, this is fantastic. It's my bucket list for keeping Tim's spirit alive. Colorado History Center is a brand new history museum. They tore the old one down the last couple of years that they have been working on this new Colorado History Center located at 1200 Broadway. It is fantastic. It is beautiful. It is like no other museum you've ever seen because it's got the Barrel Man in it.
First class already.
No, it's a fantastic place to visit. They approached me about a year ago. They have an exhibit that they just completed the end of November called Denver A through Z. And they took a poll asking people all over the country that if you came to Denver, what are the 10 things you would like to see? And Tim was either 1 or 2 in every poll, which I was like, really? My goodness. Because we have a lot of things here in Denver to be proud about. You could have gone to the game. You could have gone to another game that's professional sports.
Absolutely.
A lot
you
of
got
things.
Elitch's, you got historical
We got the Mint.
marks.
I mean, that's kind of a boring tour, but whatever.
The Capitol, forget it. Barrel Man, that's got to be number 1. That should be surprising.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just Denver, too. I said that wrong. It was Colorado. So, I mean, we've got ski resorts, but here's my sweetheart in all his naked glory. So, at any rate, the exhibit is open now, and Tim is in a spot that is labeled D because it's A through Z, and Tim is D. And Tim is D for devotion, which I think is so sweet because if he was anything, he was devoted to those Broncos.